it's Lisa Arana from Dahlhouse Designs, and I have a quick tutorial today on how I do heat emboss resisting with watercolor pencils. So I'm going to show you how I made the tag today on the card I have. It's basically watercolor paper. Well, actually it's not watercolor paper, it is mixed media paper that I found at, I think, Michael's. It's by Strathmore, mixed media paper. And the reason I picked this instead of watercolor paper is because the texture on it is very smooth. It doesn't have the roughness that watercolor paper has. So I found the fineness that I wanted in this particular paper, though if you can find really fine watercolor paper, that would work just as well too. It's really thick. I used my Cameo to cut out this tag, and it took a double cut, so it's really thick paper. It's 140 pounds, so it's nice and sturdy. So the first thing we're going to do is do the heat embossing part. We want to do this because when we put the watercolor over the stamped image, it will stay white. It won't be colored by the watercolor. So I'm going to get my stamps all set up here. Trying out a new toy today. I got this big Fiskars stamper. I use a lot of rubber stamps, so I'm just going to kind of make a mark where the stamp kind of lines up. So I don't have to get out my Stamp-A-Jig for that. I'm using a dry erase board marker, so I can just wipe that away later. So I'm going to get my Versamark out, ink that guy up really well. This is the new monthly sentiment kit for Unity. It's really cute, using the birthday sentiment that's on there. So I'm just going to kind of line this up where I want it on the tag here. Kind of want it crooked, I think. Stamp that down. And get our embossing powder out. And I'm just going to heat emboss that. Okay, so I'm all set up to do some watercolor with the watercolor pencils. I've embossed my image on my tag with white embossing powder. You could use clear, that'd be perfectly fine, but I really wanted it to pop against the watercolor, so I picked white this time. And the first thing I'm going to do with this paper, I've noticed it needs some wetness first, so I'm just going to cover the tag in some water to help soften the paper a little bit, to help the watercolor move. And you might have to do this a couple times as you're going along. You'll notice if the watercolor is not spreading very well, you can just add some more water, but we'll be using water as we go, so it shouldn't be a problem. And the paper might curl a bit, and that's okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is start with my yellow here. Kind of pick up a little bit of water, a little bit of color, and just start washing it over the tag here. Just keep adding as I go along, and it will build up color. Let me zoom in a little bit for you and see if you can see this better. It starts out very light, and you can just keep adding and building. I'm going to be blending 3 colors, so I'm starting at the top here and working my way down to dark colors. I felt like the paper was a little bit dry, so I just picked up a little bit of water there. You just keep grabbing more color and keep layering and moving your brush in long strokes. As you can see, as I keep going over it, the color keeps getting a little more deeper and richer. So you get to choose how deep of a color you want by how many layers you keep adding on. Okay, so I think I'm going to end there, the yellow. I'm just going to clean off my brush here. I just use a paper towel, water, just keep brushing it across until it comes out clear. See, it doesn't have any more of the paint on there. I'm going to use two colors for this section because I want a coral color, and I don't have that in a pen, or I mean in a pencil, so I'm just going to blend two colors. And I'm going to kind of overlap these so they blend together here. You can already see how the embossing powder resists the paint, which is kind of cool. It's starting to pop out. You might notice that it's kind of pooling on the side here. If you like that look, you can go ahead and leave it. Just picked it up myself there. Okay. So I want more of a coral color, so I'm gonna layer over on top just a little bit of orange here. So it's not quite so red. Okay, I'm just going to dab this with my towel so the embossing powder doesn't keep the color. I want a little more red in there. You just keep layering and going back and forth until you get the color you like. It's pretty easy. Okay, so here's our watercolor tag with the heat embossing resist. You can see it nicely as I angle it there, how it pops against all the colors on the tag. It's a little bit damp. You can hit it with your heat embossing tool to help it dry a little bit, or set it to the side to let it dry. See how the curling has kind of gone away. I'll probably stick it under something heavy so it dries flat. That way it won't have too much of a wave. Okay, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye.